I need to start today by saying that I think this test is pointless. At least it should be, because the question we're asking is, does color affect stability? It shouldn't, but we won't know until we test it, because the plastic is in the details. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and today's video is sponsored by Disc Golf Swag. More about them in just a moment. Today I have 4 C-Line FDs, 6 C-Line MD1s, and 5 S-Line TDs, all of course from Discmania. Each one of these is in a different color, and crucially the same plastic and very nearly the exact same weight. But why are we doing this test? Well, back when Discmania was releasing the first few molds in their new Originals line, following their official split from Innova, there were rumors swirling about something strange. Rumors about something I've never heard of with Innova discs, with Discraft discs, or frankly with any other company, that the colors had different stabilities. Even today, a quick Google search will find tons of people talking about this exact thing. Most of what you'll find are threads on Reddit talking about the stability by color. But if you actually take some time to go through those comments and compare what they're all saying, there is no pattern at all, as you can see here. Now, we've done tons of different comparisons about stability that center around glow, different plastics, parting line heights, and much more. But we've never tested whether color affects stability because it shouldn't. In fact, there's really only 3 reasons why color would have any impact on this whatsoever. Number 1, the run of this particular disc in a specific color had more or less dome. Whether that run of a disc in a specific color increased or decreased the weight distribution from the core to the wing, or what I think is most likely, that the difference is psychological. In our recent test, Do Pretty Discs Fly Farther?, many of you in the comments agreed that pretty discs and specifically dyed discs would fly farther. But why? Again, the dye or design of a disc doesn't change anything about the disc physically, but it can change how you feel about it. And as we discussed in that video, a psychological edge, that right amount of extra confidence, can improve performance. And that's where today's sponsor, Disc Golf Swag, comes in. DiscGolfSwag.com has the perfect gift for the disc golfer who has everything. Imagine a disc personalized with their favorite photo, design, or YouTube series. Shopping for a disc golfer can be hard, but Disc Golf Swag provides a unique gift that's both practical and fun. With Disc Golf Swag, you can customize a selection of popular disc molds from Innova, Discraft, and MVP with any image and preview your design instantly on their website. Plus, their high-quality, durable designs are both fade and scratch resistant. Design yours today and get fast shipping and no minimum order at DiscGolfSwag.com. Huge thanks to Disc Golf Swag for supporting our channel. Now, back to the video. Whether it's the perfect custom die, a cherished ace disc, or even a beat-up $4 used bin find, your feelings about a disc are often susceptible to something called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is defined as the tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation of one's existing beliefs or theories. For example, you may have read online that a particular color would fly a certain way, or after throwing yours, people tell you that red is more overstable. So each time you throw that disc and see an overstable flight, it's confirming this bias that you inherently already have. Rather than really evaluating the flight and thinking about the conditions, like a tailwind, your release angle, and the fact that it probably has nothing to do with the color. But over time, you're able to dismiss evidence that doesn't confirm your bias while accepting evidence that does, and therefore believing statements like red is more overstable more and more. So is red more overstable? Well, we're about to find out. Today we have 4 FDs in C-Line plastic. C-Line is Discmania's translucent premium plastic. And in our previous tests, we have found that overall it is very overstable, usually much more so than the flight numbers would suggest. And we've got 4 colors to compare today: red, purple, orange, and blue. Throwing for us as always is Team Six Sided Discs' Caleb Thomas. Make sure you follow him on his Instagram or his YouTube channel. The links are in the video description. Caleb's going to be throwing all of these on backhand with a slight hyzer in about a 5 to 10 mile an hour tailwind. Remember that the tailwind's going to make these discs fly generally more overstable, so Caleb is going to try and add a little bit more power to compensate for that. And first up is our orange FD, which gets a brief flip up to flat before gently fading out. Followed by our blue FD, which gets a fairly straight flight on 2 different occasions. Not much to choose from between those two. Our purple FD is side by side here with the blue FD, and on 2 different throws, it flies almost exactly the same flight path. And finally, our red FD, which Caleb pulls just a little bit to the right, but also flips to flat, holds, and then has a minimal fade. So looking at all 4 of these shots together, it is remarkable how similar they are, not just to each other, but to the flight numbers as well. C-line plastic is clearly designed for faster arm speeds like Caleb's. Now you may be wondering how we went about choosing the clips for this video, because obviously if we throw enough times, there's going to be some similarity. So for today's test, we threw each disc 5 to 6 times in the field. We then reviewed those shots to understand the characteristics of that disc and chose the flight that best represented how that disc flew overall. And after all that, there was basically no difference between the FDs. But will the same hold true for a mid-range? Because we have not 4, but 6 MD1s. Also here in C-line plastic, the MD1 is Discmania's straight mid-range, rated at 5600. It's also the mold that was used for one of the most popular releases in recent memory, and one of Simon Lazotte's last big releases before he left Discmania, the Mindbender. We'll be testing it in white, purple, green, yellow, blue, and orange. And while the C-line plastic didn't really show its teeth for Caleb with the FDs, it certainly did with these MD1s, because some of them were surprisingly overstable, like this orange one. And the white one as well. On the flip side, 3 of these were pretty straight to understable. Here's our yellow MD1 showing a smooth turn and gentle fade. Our green MD1 slowly turning over and holding that line. And our purple MD1 getting a nice straight flight, complete with tailwind-induced air bounce. Lastly, we have our blue MD1, which was somewhere in between, flipping up to flat, holding, but eventually finding some late stability. This time, we have some pretty significant difference in the flight of these mid-ranges, which might be related to color, or it might be related to something else, the disc's shape. It's pretty subtle and very hard to see on camera, but our orange and white MD1s have a slight dome, while the other 4 are almost perfectly flat. And in my opinion, that is much more likely to affect the flight of the disc than the color. If you like the look of any of these flights, you can directly support the content that we create here at Six Sided Discs by picking up these exact discs that we've thrown in the From Our YouTube section of our brand new website. That's right, sixsideddiscs.com is back and better than ever. Faster, more responsive, and with better filtering options for brand, disc type, and stability, our new online store is the best way to support the disc golf content you love. Plus, you take 10% off automatically on our lightly used discs from our channel. Browse our selection of accessories, apparel, or pick up some of our new custom stamps from Innova, MVP, and House of Discs. But if you're not in the market for a new disc, no problem, because you can support us in another way. Because I'm thrilled to announce that I'll be joining this year's Content Creator Panel at Disc East in Boxborough, Massachusetts on January 25th and 26th. Outside of the panel, my wife Emily and I will be attending the show, checking out all the booths and seminars. And if you see us there, stop by and say hello, because if you show us you're subscribed, you'll get a free Six Sided Discs Velcro patch as our way of saying thank you. I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for your support and for watching our videos. We really appreciate it. And a huge thanks to Ben from Disc East for putting us on this panel. Couldn't be more excited. We look forward to seeing you there. Now let's get back to that sweet Discmania plastic with the S-Line TD. S-Line is Discmania's opaque premium plastic. And these days you can compare it to Star from Innova, though with their close relationship, it's probably more like gold line plastic from Latitude 64. The TD is one of Discmania's newer drivers. Rated at 10.5, -2.1, it's a disc that I've never thrown, but seeing how popular some other 10-speed drivers are right now, I'm talking about you, Trail, I could see the TD being pretty popular for amateur players. But that's not why we're here today. We are here to see if the color of this plastic means anything at all. So let's see if there's any difference between the pink, teal, orange, yellow, or white TDs. Starting first with our orange TD, it flips up, turns, and pushes forward without quite getting back onto a hyzer angle, so pretty understable. But this is where we start to see some pretty significant differences, and I think that might have something to do with these being higher speed, higher glide drivers. Our pink TD was nice and straight, while the blue TD got a smooth turn, but did find some late stability for a big fade. Our yellow TD seems like it wants to turn, but then fights out aggressively. And finally, our white TD has zero interest in turning at all, instead showing a lot of overstability on multiple throws. So to recap for the TD, from most to least overstable, we have white, yellow, blue, pink, and the most understable, orange. So where does that leave us? Well, I'm not sure. I mulled over how to summarize this Discmania color comparison for quite some time, and I keep coming back to something I said earlier. This test is pointless. And honestly, I think I have to agree with that original statement. I don't think color has anything to do with it. Now, that's not to say that there might be coincidences where a certain run in a color happens to be more overstable for other reasons, but there are so many factors that go into affecting the flight of a disc. I think the only role that color can really play is psychological, and maybe making discs easier to find. But what do you think? Have you found that color changes a disc stability? And if so, tell us about your experience in the comments below. And while you're there, comment below what other plastic-related tests and comparisons we should do in the future. Remember, the plastic is in the details. For Six Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you at Disc East in Boxborough, Massachusetts, and in the next one. No way. There's a fly in here. It's also the mold that was used for one of the most popular releases in recent memory, and that's smooshed. I think it's past the goal. Nothing has gone that far. Maybe it is. Here, I'm gonna record. I want to know the distance.
522.
522.
60, so that count.
Sure it does. All right, hit it. I'm gonna follow it. Yeah. Hold on.
60 Mamba.
I'm ready. I'm on action cam.
Action cam, baby. Ah! I just fell.
Where'd it go?
It's Mamba. That's so stupid. That's the action cam. We got Caleb on the mic, on the coverage.
If I don't survive this, tell my wife and Eli I love him.
No one's gonna tell. Just kidding. Here we go. It's got going 360. It's had some snap. Where is that, John? There he is. 250. Yeah, subscribe. We can get that on the bloopers.
That's a wrap.
Mamba!
If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or supporting us on Patreon. Your support makes this content possible.